So Hasbro released on Amazon.com one of their latest Transformer t-shirts, official Transformer t-shirts. This isn't like some third-party t-shirt or some cafe press kind of thing. This is an official licensed Hasbro Transformers t-shirt. But what's special about this t-shirt? Well, it's actually a parody homage to the Abbey Road cover from the Beatles from back in the day, which was one of their last albums before they broke up, essentially. Now, what's fascinating about this is, number one, I'll throw it to Wendell for a second because it has to do, number one, with the rights of the Beatles. So what's happening with that, first of all?
So basically, I think what happened was back in the day, Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney were working, I think, on a joint album. They were working on a few songs. So one of the songs that came out of it was "The Girl Is Mine" and "Say Say."
Oh, that was Thriller.
Yeah,
it was on Thriller.
So basically, but I think both songs ended up on either of their albums.
Okay.
And I think it was supposed to be a joint album, but it never materialized past those two songs because Paul McCartney was talking to Michael and he said, Michael, the real money is in owning catalogs of music. And he was like, really? And he's like, yeah, the better the catalog, the more money you can make off of that. And he's like, oh, you don't say. And he turned around and bought the Beatles catalog. Michael Jackson bought the Beatles catalog out from under Paul McCartney. Now, 40 years on?
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
So that's why when the Beatles albums came to CD, it was such a big deal. When the Beatles came to iTunes, it was such a big deal. When Michael Jackson died, the estate was like, they called up Paul McCartney first and said, "Mr. McCartney, would you like to buy the catalog?" And he said yes. So like in the end, the universe realigned itself. Mm-hmm. But I think it's more so the albums. I'm not sure about. I don't know if that also
like
entails
stuff like this. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that also includes this kind of stuff, but maybe it does. I'm not 100% sure. But I know music wise, yes. But imagery that's like everybody knows. I don't know if that falls into that as well.
Yeah, it's hard to say because and not to mention the funny thing is the original this cover, this parody cover actually leaves out something very important. The original Abbey Road cover actually had a Volkswagen Beetle in the background.
Yeah.
One
thing I could tell you about this picture, this background picture, it's more modern.
Yes.
You want to know how I could tell? If you look underneath Bumblebee's arm, there's a BMW, a modern BMW.
That's true, eh? So maybe it's more just a homage parody, and that's how they get away with it then.
Maybe.
If I just wanted to just break down some interesting facts about this. So I was looking at it carefully, and I was going okay, so now looking at the order of who's on this T-shirt, who's who really? So essentially how I see it here, Hot Rod is John Lennon on this.
Yeah.
Bumblebee is Ringo Starr.
But why is Hot Rod so tiny? Why is he as tall as Bumblebee, I guess?
I have no idea. It's
the scale is a little bit weird.
The art that they used is very bizarre. Ironhide is Paul McCartney and Optimus Prime is George Harrison. Now, what I think they should have done personally, like the order that I would have done it really, is number one, I would have had that old Volkswagen Beetle in the background. And that old Volkswagen Beetle, if you didn't want it to be Bumblebee, because you kind of want to have Bumblebee up front and center, have it be a repaint then. Have it be, I don't know, Glyph or Bug Bite or whatever. Or if you want to make it a retool, make it a Cliff Jumper. Mm-hmm. But I would have had it that I feel that Optimus Prime is John Lennon.
Oh, okay.
The pseudo leader of the band, the brains of the whole operation. I feel that Paul McCartney should be Hot Rod, where it's kind of, if there is a second in command of those four, it would be him. And he's the younger one, but not the youngest. And, he still gets, the love by the female fans and everything like that. And then I think that George Harrison should be Ironhide George Harrison is also Ironhide in the, no, he isn't Ironhide in that one. Either way, George Harrison should be Ironhide. Because it's the oldest of the bunch and the grizzled war veteran, but not really Cup. And the only one that was correct was Bumblebee was Ringo Starr, and I want him to be Ringo Starr here. Ringo Starr was the youngest. He was the cute one. He was the small one. So it makes sense. It's perfect. When I was doing this, also, I started thinking more to myself, and I was going like, now, for people who don't know this, there actually was another member of the Beatles before Ringo Starr joined the band. It was their drummer named Pete Best. And so I was saying to myself, who would be Pete Best? And then it hit me, Ultra Magnus. Because he was going to be leader, but not really. So Pete Best would be Ultra Magnus if he was here too. But either way, just something I just wanted to mill over. Maybe people have a different opinion. Who should be who on this T-shirt? This is an official T-shirt that is available right now for $19.99. It comes in black, it comes in gray, it comes in white, and it comes in like more of a gunmetal. It's only available right now in the men's cut and in the youth cut, which is a little wider. But yeah, it's available on Amazon.com. I'll try to link in the comments and in the description if you want to pick it up.